Hi there, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. First things first, just quickly here. For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm in the national newspaper in Czech Republic. It's a slow news day or something, but if you're a new follower and you're Czech or whatever, or you're bored, check it out. I guess it's online as well on Edenes. It's the second biggest publication in the entire country. I can't explain it either, so check it out, I guess. Bayern Munich. I don't think after all my time doing this, I don't think I've ever really spoke about Bayern Munich, and this year I wanted to give it a bit of time. There is a reason why I've gained a bit more interest in Bayern this year as a here's your bingo card, Burnley fan. Yeah, it's become like a common thing where like there's like a Vizeh bingo thing where like almost every video I must say I'm a Burnley fan. I am, and in this sense it actually makes sense to say I am. Vincent Kompany, of course, Burnley manager for 2 years, gave us statistically the best season in our entire history, and then followed up by statistically the worst season in our entire history. It's actually quite impressive, with an over 100 point season in the championship, to then giving us the lowest points tally in our entire history the following year. Now Vincent Kompany, I talked about it before, but the way I see him more as an idea manager, a theory manager. Like the idea of Vincent Kompany, the idea of the football he wants to play is a novel one, is a nice one, is one which is similar to, and I can't believe I'm going to say his name here, but I compared it to Russell Martin. I accused Russell Martin of doing something similar to what Vincent Kompany did with Burnley last year, which in my opinion prioritised his own values and his own style of play to protect himself rather than doing what is actually best for the football club. Changing the system that may lead to more results, but therefore changing his ways to get those results. They stuck with it to then give them the idea of playing this nice, attractive, possession-based football, flair football, and dominant football, which in idea can work well if you got a really good team. I think that is what Vincent Kompany did. We didn't have the team that's capable of doing anything close to what he attempted to last year. We had nowhere near enough confidence out the back to pass out from the back, made consistent mistakes every week, and we continued throughout the entire year very much. There was a slight tweak in terms of out the back compared to the start, but we still made mistakes week in, week out, and that was due to the failure of recruitment because he thought the players were good enough to do the type of football he wanted. So when a manager from Burnley gets signed to Bayern Munich, the same Burnley that was relegated in the worst points tally, some questions will be asked. And for me, Vincent Kompany has got a lot of good ideas and has got the entire package. He's a big name, he's a good speaker, he represents the club well, and I've got no issue with Kompany. I find it personally fascinating to see how would that style of football work with a team of elite level players, because in theory, similar to how he did with Burnley in Championship, if you got better players doing a style of football, then it may work. If they're worse of players, then it will not work at all. So here is the Bayern Munich experiment here. I personally believe that Vincent Kompany can still be seen as naive and even stubborn, but you tell me down below your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe, and for the best football prints all made by myself, Mazzola Designs, use code Vizeh for 50% off all items, all made by myself. Are Bayern Munich good this year? Well, it's hard to really judge. In the domestic level, they are 8 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga, and considering the fact they didn't win the Bundesliga last year for the first time in 10 years, that should be seen as some kind of success. Or should it? Because it's Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. The real test that I've always said for Vincent Kompany is how would he do in the Champions League next to what I deem as better tactical managers. What happens when he plays against Aston Villa and Unai Emery? Can he deal with it? As we found out, he can't. I remember watching that game against Aston Villa, and Bayern Munich got caught out time and time again on the break. They kept on being found out on the break because of this high press, high line style of football that Vincent Kompany wants to maintain. And for me, I believe he's still being naive in trying to play such a high line with plays that is only inevitable to make mistakes. The reason why I'm doing this video now is because this has been by far the toughest week of the entire season, as they played Bayer Leverkusen in a must-not-lose game, and they got a draw, at least with a 0-0 draw, but it wasn't exactly a great performance. And then, of course, after just beating Celtic away, they were only minutes away from being sent to extra time by Celtic, who historically are very poor in European competition. The performance wasn't great at all, and it led to a 94th minute equaliser by Alphonso Davies to drag them over the line to the next round. Bayern seems to have a habit of just doing enough. Bayern at times can look really good. Bayern, of course, in the Bundesliga under Harry Kane will likely still keep bagging goals, and he'd be able to play the style of play that he wants to achieve. In the Champions League, it's been strange. The 1-0 win against PSG was pretty decent. However, PSG have been pretty hit and miss this year as well. They got absolutely tramped in Rotterdam by Feyenoord 3-0, lost away to Aston Villa as well, battered by Barcelona away as well 4-1. If you ask any Bayern fan, the team looks like it's a lot more stable than what it was last year, obviously. However, there's still this fragility that will always remain, especially as they are always exposed to the counter-attack. Any sort of transition by any team that's got somewhat pace will always lead to opportunities for a team to feel like they can get something against Bayern. Even last night against Celtic, they were always at a threat to Celtic's transitional play. Big shock against Holstein Kiel at home by still beating them, but 4-3, conceding 3 goals at home to a team which is in the lower half of the table is a rarity at best. Same thing can be said for them conceding 2 goals at Heidenheim at home as well. Again, another bottom of the table team. But then they could go on and smash Dynamo Zagreb 9-2, for example. How good actually are Bayern? Musiala, who in the big games hasn't really shown up. Vincent Kompany was never Bayern Munich's first choice, and he's kind of similar to a Maresca and the job he's doing at Chelsea in the desire to have the Pep effect, someone who of course has similar styles of play as what Pep Guardiola tries to implement. It feels like both Maresca and Vincent Kompany have been over-promoted into these high jobs to see if they can have a similar effect to Pep while being given higher resources than what they typically would deserve if they didn't have that background. And I can't compare Bayern Munich to Burnley here, of course, but I do see similar things when it comes to how they consistently get overturned on transition and always look fragile. Pretty much every team that Bayern plays copies what Aston Villa did to them. Try to put the bus and launch the counter-attack on transition. This is what happened when they got absolutely bodied 3-0 away against Feyenoord, where Bayern had about 80% possession, all the passes in the world, have all the attacking momentum and the threat, but can never make it count. Kompany's style of football is very repetitive. When it comes to attack and style of play, it has very similar systems and patterns that it always seems to repeat. Vizeh has been very good this year and is not really a surprise to many Crystal Palace fans, obviously. Right now they're in a weird spot where in the league it feels like they're under no threat whatsoever. In the Champions League, it feels like it's ready to collapse at any moment. And in the next round, they've got Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen ready and waiting. I cannot see Bayern Munich beating any of those other two legs. I can't see it. In the Leverkusen game, they were basically battered. They only had 2 shots the entire game, both very late on in the game with no real high SG. It was just pot shots basically. With Harry Kane going off with a precaution at half time, if Harry Kane gets injured, it may lead to some problems in the league for Bayern Munich. They got Frankfurt at home, Stuttgart away, some pretty big games coming up. If they can go through both those 2 games with flying colours, then things should be okay. Things should be fine. If there is a hiccup, then potentially the pressure will start coming on Kompany, who for many people is still being seen as an experiment ready to fall apart at any moment. I like Kompany. I think that he represented Burnley very well. Comment down below your thoughts on Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich. Do you think he's done a good job or a bad job? Which is dumb to say because they're top of the table by 8 points. It feels like they should be easily winning the title, and well, it's Bayern Munich, they usually do. In the Champions League, I always felt like this would be where he'd be found out or struggle, and he has done so far, which isn't too surprising. But he is a young manager, so maybe he should learn, and I guess the hope is he would. And if he doesn't, then that is when the blame should fall onto him. Comment down below your thoughts, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.